Another email for you.
That's a long one. As you guys are aware, many of your listeners also listen to Howard. Howard who? If you were both on terrestrial radio, I could understand a competing broadcaster putting your show up against his. But the fact that you're now breaking into the satellite market, which requires a lot more from listeners than just turning the dial, do you feel this is a smart move as your show launches on XM? If it proves... Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus. What was the question?
It's really two different games. I mean, yeah, we'll be on live up against Howard. A lot of the media is looking at it as Howard versus Opie and Anthony. Who's going to win? Blah, blah, blah. But, you know, we're on a whole different platform. If people are going to be listening to Howard over us in the morning, in a way, that's fine because they'll get another 3 or 4 opportunities to hear our show anyway. So it's kind of a moot point. Really.
I always felt because of the mood around Infinity Broadcasting that we were competing with him when we were working with the same company. You know, and we were in afternoons and he's in mornings. We couldn't be further from competing, but for some reason, in his mind, it was a competition.
Yeah.
That wasn't fought out on the air as much as it was behind the scenes and in Mel Karmazin's ear. To tell him to tell us to not talk about him, and coming from a guy that made his bones talking and goofing on other jocks, it was disheartening for us. I mean, growing up, you know, you grow up, especially growing up in New York, you grow up a fan of Howard, you know, and after working for the same company and having to deal with some of his bullshit, it was disheartening. It was like, damn, you know, this isn't like the guy that I pictured, you know, the guy that in his movie goes in and Imus is the one that's yelling F you to him. And, you know, it's like, Jesus, you know, the guy he really ended up being quite a hypocrite to us. And I'm not just saying that like, oh, it's another jock saying Howard sucks. You know, it's not that. It was just.
Oh, we lived this.
It was a letdown that, you know, he turned out to be such an asshole, you know, that when we worked for the same company.
It was like seeing Superman without his cape and realizing he was just like.
You're just Clark Kent.
You're just Clark Kent with goofy glasses.
Well, let's go over this way.
First, I got to say it's great to hear you guys again. I mean, it's just like
Thank you.
Comforting.
It is so great to hear us too.
But I have 2 quick questions. I don't know like what your contractual obligations are, but will you guys be allowed to, like, since you're in D.C., go on the Ron and Fez show or do anything like that?
Well, they work for a company called Viacom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Ron and Fez would have us on tomorrow, but I think because of who they work for and who we work for, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
I think it's like, you know, you go into a Fleet Bank and rob it, and then you try to open up an account at the same branch because you know the teller. You know? It's kind of weird.
Also, the other thing is, will you... I just totally went blank what I was going to say.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
What I wanted to know is...
We're with you, though, man. I was like, it's going to come out.
The whole little altercation between Jay Moore and Andrew Dice Clay, was that all like 100% genuine? Like,
were you calling it bullshit? Hey, Snapperhead, I don't do fake fights, okay? Oh! Sit down, jerk off.
Stop it, please. People actually, when we first started at NEW in New York, people actually thought Dice was working there when I used to break into the Dice impression. Because, first of all, no one really cared about Dice. No one did an impression of him, really, seriously. And he wasn't doing anything. So we played it up like he was sweeping up the studio for us. And people called up and believed it. And instead of, you know, hey, Dice, sorry to hear you sweeping up, they're like, you're sweeping up.
I played the card, now I'm here. I'm over here now.
To the left.
Yeah, I just want to say it's great having you guys back. I'm from Suffolk County also, so
nice.
It's nice
All
to have
right.
you guys down here.
The country.
Yeah, the country, exactly. How do you guys feel about being so close to Capitol Hill now, and you got some real conservative scumbags trying to basically change satellite radio too now, trying to get the FCC on satellite radio. How do you feel about that?
I think they have a tough battle. I think it's a lot easier to regulate terrestrial radio just for the fact that their excuse is, oh my God, it's available for everybody. A small child doesn't even need a radio. They pick it up on their braces. They could hear O&A and it's available. It's unbelievable. Kids are picking it up on their Nikes now and they're hearing horrible language. You know, all right, they got that. They won. They've taken their vague, gray FCC rules and spread them so thin that now words like balloon knot, unacceptable. when you have a subscriber-based show and XM satellite, you have to buy the equipment, you have to pay a monthly fee. I think they'd have a very tough time, as they do with television, with cable television. Basic cable now,
It's great.
don't get me wrong, I love it. But I'm still spinning my head around because it used to just be HBO. Remember when HBO first came out, you'd hear, fuck. And you'd be like, whoa, what? That came out of my TV speaker? This is unbelievable. And you got used to it. And now, like FX, and you watch things like Nip Tuck. And Rescue Me, Leary's show, which is really great. And XM sponsors. It's great because you hear them using real language. And I think the FCC would have a hard time coming down on that because it is something you pay for. You can't just set up the rabbit ears and pick it up, If they want to regulate broadcast, where you need that antenna and it's coming out over the airwaves, watch the children, protect the children, I think we lost that battle, especially now. It's really bad, like you said, with so many conservatives, religious right. I mean, ugh. There's only so much you could do there, but I think they'd have a hard time in this medium.
Opie and Anthony, Ungagged.
We'll continue after another fucking commercial. Right here.
Hemorrhoids? Well, I hope not, because you want to know the truth, I'm scared enough of those guys on the highway without thinking their butt's on fire.